It's always good talking professional wrestling, sports entertainment style, WWE, or anything pro wrestling related. And the Florida Panthers hockey team, pro athletes, celebrities, they like pro wrestling. They were kids. When they were kids, they were fans. As they get older, some of them are still fans. It's great. And the Florida Panthers defenseman, an all-star. He's an all-star. Let me tell you, Keith Yandle, he's been a wrestling fan since he's been a kid, and we're able to talk to him now about professional wrestling during this COVID-19. And hey, first of all, we're glad to see hockey coming back, and that is so cool. And I know you just got to be just itching to get back in there, Keith.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things. Obviously, it's great news for us that we're going to be starting up soon. I think if you look around, I think wrestling's kind of been the one sport where, they haven't really taken much time off. They've been giving us entertainment over the last couple weeks, months. So, just kind of following in their footsteps now, and they're definitely excited to get back on the ice.
And that is so true. Pro wrestling really didn't take a break. They were able to do their shows in Florida and be able to continue doing that and giving us something to watch, because really it's only been horse racing and pro wrestling, and now we're starting to get back into it with UFC, and golf's doing a little bit, auto racing is back, and then we're going to have hockey back, so it's going to be really cool. I want to ask you, how did you start watching wrestling as a kid? How did that just start for you?
Well, it was pretty easy as a kid. During the 90s, the Attitude Era, it was must-watch TV for everyone. It was the thing you talked about on, Monday, on Tuesday after Raw and Nitro, and on Mondays after a big pay-per-view event. So I think as long as I can remember, I was at least trying. I remember being really young and my parents not wanting me to watch it, and then going to rent VHSs at the video store and watching older matches or pay-per-views that had just came out. So ever since I can remember, I was watching, and always took to it, and still do.
Was it one of your friends that got you hooked into it, or you just saw it on TV and start watching?
It was one of my best friends down the street from me had a trampoline, so we did a lot of wrestling moves and imitating the guys on that. Luckily, no one was injured because it's pretty dangerous, the stuff that we were doing. But I'd say majority of the love for wrestling came from doing it on that trampoline at my friend Jake's house and just kind of imitating the big guys.
All right, so were you doing Stone Cold Stunners, Swanton Bombs, Diamond Cutters? What was going on?
Yeah, you know what? My favorite guy to emulate, because I could do his walk, was D'Lo Brown, because I would put on like a catcher's chest catcher's chest
Protector, right?
And walk down. Yeah, and then walk down. He had like stairs that came down, so we made it the whole. And we had the CD. It was the intros to all the guys. So I had D'Lo Brown's walk down pretty good, so I usually imitated him. And he had a younger brother that took a lot of abuse, so we would, we'd get him at the pretty much every move. The stunner was, that was always used. The tombstone, which was pretty good, but definitely one that we always tried out on him.
That's something. First of all, you mentioned D'Lo Brown, and I know D'Lo. D'Lo's a great guy. He used to live in West Palm Beach for a little while, too, when he was with WWE / WWF. And an accountant, played football. I don't remember the college he went to, but he was a pretty good football player. And that's the thing. He got that. I remember talking to him. He got that swag walk with the head bobbing from not a well-known football player, but in the day when he was watching, he was a really good player. But the name of Merton Hanks of the San Francisco 49ers, he saw him do that swag walk one day, and then all of a sudden D'Lo took it to another level and did his thing and all. So I'm picturing a young Keith doing that head swag sort of shake and bake.
Yeah. I'll give you I'll try to freshen up on it now, and then next time I see you, I'll show it to you for sure. But I mean, if you look at it, I mean, Vince McMahon did it a little bit, and then now I think Conor McGregor's kind of made it really famous, and I think you got to give D'Lo Brown the copyright for that, and I think he's the first guy that I remember doing it. But obviously, there was a football player.
I got to get in touch with your Panthers PR group the next time D'Lo comes down for a match if you're in town, because he was actually here several months ago. He wrestled. He was on an indie show, and it was really cool. Gangrel.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, Gangrel is doing his own thing from the Brood. And
that's right. I've met him. I've met him a few times. He's a great guy. He's given me some of his hot sauce. I've linked up with him at a few things over the last couple of years. He's a great guy. Has some unreal stories.
Yeah, Gangrel and Craig, his partner, friend, business partner. They both go to. Right, I didn't even think of that until you brought it up. They go to Panthers games as much as they can. They love going out to the Panthers games. So that's really cool. And I know Gangrel now has his school, Gangrel's Wrestling Asylum, in Dania Beach, and they do shows over at the casino, the Dania Beach casino out there, and they get some good talent. Powers of Pain are going to be coming down, the Warlord and the Barbarian, and that's old school as it gets for a lot of us. It's going to be really cool. Headbangers are going to be there. It's going to be a really good show and all. So that's interesting too, because like I said, he had D'Lo. He's friends with D'Lo. He had D'Lo down. So next time and all, I'll mention that to Gangrel and Craig too, because I know. Hearing that history is so cool.
Yeah, he's invited me to come out there, and I definitely got to take it up on him. I heard he's doing great things at the school down there, and I definitely got to check it out. I'd love to get in the ring, take some bumps or something. Yeah,
it's really cool, and they do a really nice job there. He's got the expertise and does a really good job training everyone down there. And then the shows that he puts on are really, it's like watching a mini Nitro, the way they have the setup at that stage 954 at the Dania Beach Casino and all. It really is a cool setup when they walk out to the ring and they get a nice crowd. And they're very community-oriented, too. They do a lot with Dania Beach charities and events in the city. So it's a really good time, a really good thing that's going on down there. You mentioned that you were doing the moves and things like that, and you mentioned maybe wanting to get in the ring a little bit just to try it out a little and all. Do you have an interest in getting involved in a match, becoming a pro wrestler after hockey days?
That's the dream. As a kid, is to be out there in front of thousands. I think that the shows that they put on, the athleticism that they have. The trust that they have in each other, it's all, it's like watching a ballet with violence. I think it's everything that they do to me is, it just impresses me more and more, and how athletic they are. But I would 100% do, if I was ever asked, and I would do anything for to get in the ring.
It's amazing, Keith, that. Because you had mentioned the Undertaker and the Tombstone, that this guy is still doing his thing. He had a classic WrestleMania match, WrestleMania 36, totally different because no crowd. They did at the Performance Center where they train in Orlando, and basically him and AJ Styles did a cinematic. They taped it outside at night. It was like a graveyard barn area, but it was just Undertaker and AJ Styles going at it, and it was just so cool how fans just raved about it and all. But you mentioned Undertaker. It's amazing that this guy is still able to do. Now, he can't wrestle. He's not wrestling every week. He's not on all the time, once in a while. But it's just so cool to see this transformation of this wrestler and how it's been able to just carry over for all these years.
Yeah, and I'm watching they have a little documentary on him on the WWE network, and I've been watching that. And Undertaker is, my whole life probably. I'd say besides Sting, he wasn't WWE, but I'd say Undertaker was probably my favorite WWF guy, and I think watching the documentary on him and just the respect that guys have for him and the respect that he has for the whole, the WWE and what he wants to bring night in, night out to the show is amazing. And it's not about him; it's about the league, and that's something for me. I try to take pride in, being like that as a hockey player, and I think when you have in my eyes, the best guy of all time, still humbled and just happy to still be wrestling is pretty cool to see.
And it was something because he never does that. He never pulls back the curtain. I mean, he is who he is. So to have him do that special was really cool. And a lot of people really enjoyed to see that. Keith, you mentioned the athleticism.
Yeah, you never knew anything about him. You just saw what you saw about him and then never really got in too deep with him. But it's definitely awesome that he did that.
Yeah, he held true to his character in the ring and out of the ring and was able to do that, which is so hard to do, especially these days with social media and just everything else. But he was able to do it. You mentioned the athleticism, and it's always interesting to me because sports obviously is athletic, but also professional sports are entertainment. It's entertaining too. People go out there, they want to watch. They want to watch a good game. They want to see a good hockey game. They want to see it played well. They want to see their team win, of course. But how do you just relate the athleticism and the entertainment with pro wrestling and that of pro hockey or in other pro sports?
Well, I think especially, during the times now, you realize how much, people, rely on us as entertainers to get through their day, get through their week. And, even me, is, the hour you get watching, whether it's wrestling or football or baseball, basketball, you get to shut your brain off, not think of anything else, and root for someone. And I think, as entertainers, it's our job to do that night in and night out. And I think Undertaker, in the first episode, in his match, I think it was 2018 WrestleMania, he just wasn't happy with his performance and worked hard to get back and obviously putting on a good show a couple weeks ago. And I think you got to tip your hat to athletes like that who are just not satisfied with being mediocre and want to go out and put on a good show for other people. It's not for their own enjoyment. It's for everybody else in the world to enjoy.
You mentioned taking some of his characteristics and wanting to be like that, how he has respect and just how he plays his craft. And obviously, of course, we know WWE, pro wrestling, whatever it is, you have the winner and losers are predetermined, so that's not new news. We all know that, but there's so much of the athleticism that goes involved, and there's so many injuries that these men and women are they take just because of the physicality of it all. When did you realize just the physicality part of it? Did you know that as a kid, or was it later on in life you're like, holy gosh, these men and women take a lot of abuse in there. It's not just them flipping around and, they know how to land, they know how to do this, they know how to do that.
Yeah, I always respected, and I was probably a little naive of thinking that, it wasn't predetermined for a long time, and I just didn't want to believe it was just one of those things where I enjoyed believing that it was, they were fighting and whoever won. And obviously, especially back in the day, maybe a little more so than now, you had guys high flyers, you had guys jumping off of ropes, jumping off of cages, getting slammed. So you like the respect that I had for the bumps that they were taking and the athleticism, it has always been there, and it always will. Even the ring, I've been in a ring before, and it's not. You're not like, even if you were landing on a bed, it still hurt, and it's not as cushiony as people may think.
Hey Keith, did you like old school Sting that talked, or did you like the Black Crow type of Sting?
I like the Black Crow. Even when he was Wolfpack when he went to the Red Mask. I was always a big Sting guy. I had the mask. I used to wear it all the time. Just kind of like the Undertaker. I like how they were like a mysterious character where you weren't getting too much from them, and they performed and they went out and did their thing, and never disappointed me.
Their character's so much different than D'Lo Brown, right?
I know, yeah. Well, you got to have have fans and all different. I mean, I was kind of more of a definitely not like a showman like a D'Lo Brown. But yeah, I like X-Pac and those guys, like the energy that they brought. I was always into that too. So I mean, I was fans of pretty much all of them.
Keith, did you bring any of that attitude? Because when I watch you play today, you're so good on the ice, and you do such a good job and all. And obviously, you can't take pro wrestling into NHL. But even when you were younger, did you do any of that on the a little swag on the ice or anything like that, or no? You kept it very, very professional and just kept it to hockey.
Definitely more as a kid when I was in high school and even before that, I was definitely more of a showman and brought that element. Even after scoring a goal, like I used using like the Hulk Hogan, the hand to the ear, getting the crowd going, stuff like that. Just little things where you would just have a little bit of showmanship. But I think the older I got in the NHL, if you're showboating someone's going to grab you and punch your head in. So I toned down a little bit from that.
You got to save that for the last game of the season. At least maybe they'll forget by the next season, though. Or actually, no one forgets, right?
No one forgets. Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh. Hey, when you were growing up in Milton, Massachusetts, did you attend any shows as a kid?
Oh yeah, all the time. I tried to get in as much as possible. We had some good access there. People. My dad was friends with people that worked there, and we'd get the old backdoor treatment, just kind of sneaking in and try to find our way and get the best seats possible. But went to a couple Raws, couple pay-per-views, and then as I got older, I went to WrestleMania in Phoenix when it was out there, a Royal Rumble. So I've made my rounds and went to my fair share of events. The biggest one was back in the day. I don't know if it was. I mean, they definitely don't do it now. Was the Brian Panning match? So those were a big deal if you could get to one of those.
Oh, those were unbelievable. You had, Terry and Sable and Sonny. Holy man!
China. Yeah, it was. That was living for a 12-year-old.
It's so true, and all that was so fun. Hey, was that at the Boston Garden?
No, Fleet. I think it was the Fleet Center back then. It was called. I never went to one. I never went to one at the Garden, like at the original Garden, but at the Fleet Center is where I went to most of the shows in Boston.
And was that also where the Boston Bruins played?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So that you were able, that was where the connections was through the hockey, that you were able to do that as a youngster.
No, it was just like friends of my dad that worked at the Fleet Center that would help get us in, stuff like that.
That is so cool. Did you get to meet anybody as a kid?
I met. I don't know. I'm pretty sure his name was the Boston Brawler. He was a big guy, bald head. I met him in like the walkway one time. I'm almost positive his name was the Boston Brawler, but I can't. Yeah, I'm sure he had a bunch of names, and I'd be interested to find out what he went by. I think it might have even been like a WCW event. That was really the only guy I met when I was a kid.
What was that like, getting to meet one of them and all? And you see them, they're larger than life, and here you go with one. Because I remember WWE/WWE had the Brooklyn Brawler. And then in WCW, I know they had a bully. There was a bully. Bully Busick was another, but he had a really weird mustache too. He had like one of those, I want to say Raleigh Fingers curly mustaches, or he had the big mustache goatee type going on. One of the two and all.
Yeah.
But I don't remember that. But still, getting to meet someone like that, what was it like?
It was like, it didn't matter who it was at that age. I was like just in awe how big he was, and it was a 5-minute interaction in the hallway. But I remember got like my ticket stub signed by him. probably still somewhere at my parents' house. But later, I had a night out with Chavo Guerrero